Hello, this is Professor Asma Parveen from Department of Psychology, Aligarh Muslim University. Today, I will talk about methods of determining the reliability of a questionnaire. I have already discussed one of the method, that is external procedures for determining the reliability, and today I will discuss internal methods for determining the reliability of a questionnaire. So, another set of procedures used to estimate reliability is internal consistency procedures. Unlike external consistency procedures, which focus on comparing the instrument to external criteria, internal procedures assess the consistency within the instrument itself. This involves examining the relationships between different items or questions within the instrument. If the responses to these items are consistently related, it suggests that the instrument is reliable in measuring the intended construct. Internal consistency reliability is a crucial aspect of testing and surveys because it ensures that all the questions or items in a test or survey measure the same thing. This is important because if the questions are not consistent with each other, the results may not accurately reflect what they are intended to. To determine if a test or survey has internal consistency reliability, researchers use Cronbach's alpha, which examines the relationship between all the questions or the items. A higher value of Cronbach's alpha indicates greater reliability, meaning that the questions in the test or survey are consistent with each other, leading to more dependable results. By ensuring internal consistency reliability, researchers can have confidence in the accuracy and validity of their findings, and they can draw meaningful conclusions and make informed decisions based on the collected data. Without internal consistency reliability, the results of a test or survey may be inconsistent and unreliable, making it difficult to trust their implications. Therefore, internal consistency reliability is essential for maintaining consistency and reliability within a test or survey. There are different methods to measure internal consistency reliability, and the split half method is one of the commonly used method to test the internal consistency and reliability of measuring instruments. This method involves dividing a test into two halves and scoring them separately. The scores of one half are then compared to the scores of the other half to determine the reliability of the test. To divide the test, odd numbered items are assigned to one half and even numbered items to the other half. This is known as odd even reliability. The correlation of scores between the two halves is then correlated using the Pearson correlation formula. This helps determine how closely related the scores are. To further increase the estimate of reliability, the correlation is adjusted or re-evaluated using the Spearman-Brown formula. This formula takes into account any potential errors in measurement. Once the correlations have been calculated, the next step is to assess the overall reliability of the test. If the correlation between the scores for both halves is fairly high, it suggests that all parts of the test are contributing equally to measure the introverted personality trait, suppose if we are trying to measure these traits. This indicates good internal consistency. However, if the correlation is low, it suggests that there may be questions with low correlation that need to be rewritten or removed. By improving the internal consistency and overall reliability of the test, more accurate results can be obtained. A crucial aspect of evaluating the effectiveness of questionnaires or tests is split half reliability. This method allows researchers and educators to determine if their instruments accurately measure what they are intended to measure. By assessing the correlation between the two halves of the test, it becomes evident whether all parts of the test hold equal importance in measuring the desired outcome. A higher correlation signifies greater consistency, indicating that the test is more reliable in its measurements. The purpose of split half reliability is to provide valuable insights for researchers and educators, as it enables them to make informed decisions based on the data they collect. By obtaining a numerical value that represents the reliability of the test, educators can then assess the effectiveness of their assessments and identify areas where improvements may be necessary. This information empowers educators to refine their surveys, questionnaires, or tests, ensuring that they accurately measure the intended variables. Having a high correlation between the two halves of the test is particularly advantageous because it demonstrates that all components of the test contribute equally to measuring the desired outcome. This means that no part of the test is disproportionately influential or irrelevant. The split half reliability of a test can be influenced by several factors, and one such factor is item homogeneity, which refers to how similar the test items are in measuring the same thing. If the items in each half of the test measure different aspects of what is being assessed, it can lower the reliability of the test. To improve consistency in measurement, it is important to ensure that all the items tap into the same underlying concept. Another factor that can also influence split half reliability is item difficulty. This refers to how easy or hard the test items are. If one half of the test has significantly easier or harder items compared to the other half, it can introduce variability in how participants respond and impact the reliability of the test. To maintain consistency, it is important to balance the difficulty levels of the items between the halves of the test. Item discrimination is also an important factor to consider. It refers to how well the test items can differentiate between individuals who have different levels of the concept being measured. Items with low discrimination indexes, meaning they fail to distinguish between high and low scorers, can reduce the reliability of the test. So, to enhance reliability, it is crucial to ensure that all the items contribute meaningfully to the measurement. Another factor that can also influence reliability is the length of the test. Longer tests tend to be more reliable because they include more questions, reducing the chance of random variations in participants' answers. On the other hand, shorter tests may not provide enough coverage and may produce less stable reliability estimates. Another factor that can also affect the reliability of a test is the characteristics of the participants. Things like their cognitive abilities, motivation levels, and familiarity with the test format can all play a role. If participants have different abilities or levels of motivation, it can lead to more variability in their responses and impact the reliability estimate. To minimize this, it is important to standardize testing conditions and give clear instructions to all participants. The environment in which the test is taken also plays a significant role in its reliability. Factors like noise, distractions, and comfort can all affect how well participants can concentrate and give consistent responses. It is best to conduct tests in controlled environments with minimal distractions to improve the reliability of the measurements. Response bias is another factor to consider when assessing the reliability of a test. This refers to when participants have a tendency to respond in a certain way, such as always agreeing with statements or giving socially desirable answers. This can introduce systematic errors into the measurement and reduce the accuracy of the reliability estimates. To minimize response bias, it is important to use balanced item wording and anonymous response formats. Split half reliability is a valuable method for assessing the consistency of a test. It offers several advantages that make it a popular choice among researchers and practitioners. And one major advantage of this reliability is its simplicity and efficiency. Unlike other methods that require complex calculations or multiple administrations of the test, split half reliability is fast and easy to use. This means that even those without advanced mathematical skills can employ this method effectively. In addition to being user friendly, split half reliability is also cost effective. Testing can be an expensive endeavor, especially when multiple administrations are required. However, with split half reliability, the test is divided in half and compared, eliminating the need for additional administrations. This makes it particularly beneficial in situations where there are limited financial resources available for testing purposes. When utilizing split half reliability, researchers obtain a correlation coefficient which indicates the level of consistency of a test. Another important advantage of split half method is its easy interpretation. When utilizing split half reliability, researchers obtain a correlation coefficient which indicates the level of consistency of a test. A higher correlation coefficient suggests greater consistency across both halves of the test. This numerical value provides valuable information about the reliability of the test and helps researchers and practitioners make informed decisions based on the results. Another advantage of split half reliability is its ability to identify potential issues or problems with the test. If certain items on the test exhibit low correlations between the two halves, it may indicate problems with wordings of the question, difficulty level, or the test ability to differentiate between different levels of ability. By pinpointing these issues, researchers can make necessary adjustments to improve the overall quality and validity of the test. Additionally, split half reliability is also particularly advantageous for large scale tests where administering multiple versions of the test is impractical or unaffordable. With split half reliability, a single administration of the test can provide a reliable estimate of its consistency. This saves time, resources, and effort, making it a practical choice for high stakes assessments. Split half reliability is a method that is used to measure the consistency of a test by dividing it into two halves. However, there are several disadvantages to this approach. Firstly, when we split the test, each half may not cover all the content and items that the full length test does. This can impact the accuracy of our reliability estimates, especially for shorter tests or those with fewer items. Additionally, the reliability estimate obtained from split half analysis is dependent on how we divide the test into halves. If the division is not done carefully or if there are significant differences between the two halves, our reliability estimate may be biased or inaccurate. This highlights the importance of ensuring a fair and balanced division of the test. Furthermore, split half reliability assumes that both halves of the test measure the same thing with equal reliability. However, if this assumption is not true, our reliability estimate could be either too high or too low. This can lead to misinterpretation of the results and potentially affect the validity of the test. When to use split half reliability? When evaluating the consistency of a test, the split half reliability method is commonly used method. This method requires certain conditions to be met in order to effectively measure reliability. One important factor is the number of questions on the test. Ideally, it should be around 100 as a larger sample size leads to more accurate correlation coefficients. Another crucial consideration is that all the questions on the test should measure the same thing. If the test assesses different skills or attributes such as leadership, communication, and programming skills, then split half reliability would not be appropriate. This is because the responses to these diverse types of questions are not expected to be related. Therefore, when deciding whether to use split half reliability, it is essential to take into account both the number of questions and the similarity of the content being measured. To illustrate this, researchers conducted a study to determine the consistency of a test in measuring introverted personality traits. The test consisted of 100 questions specifically focused on introversion. In order to assess its reliability, they divided the test into two halves with odd numbered questions in one half and even numbered questions in the other half. Both halves of the test were then administered to the same individual. This process was repeated with 50 different people, allowing for a more comprehensive analysis of the consistency of the test. Now I will discuss the measurement of internal consistency reliability, and for this we use two methods. One of the method is inter-item correlation. This is a method used to determine the consistency and accuracy of the questions we ask. It helps us to measure how well a group of questions assess a specific concept or someone's true opinions. To calculate the average inter-item correlation, there are three steps involved. First, we identify the questions that are intended to measure the same thing. Then we calculate the correlation between each pair of these questions. For example, if we have three questions about ice cream preference, we would calculate the correlations between AB, BC and AC. If we have 6 questions, we would need to calculate correlations for all possible pairs. Finally, we find the average of all these correlations. The ideal range for average inter-item correlation falls between 0.15 to 0.50. If the correlations are lower than 0.15, it indicates that the questions are not well connected and do not effectively measure the same concept. Conversely, if the correlations exceed 0.50, it suggests that the questions are too similar and may be redundant. This method is particularly useful in ensuring the reliability and validity of our assessments. By understanding the inter-item correlation, we can ensure that the questions we ask provide consistent and accurate results. It allows us to measure the effectiveness of our questions in measuring the desired idea or opinion. Researchers calculate the correlation between all possible pairs of items and then find the average, which helps ensure that the test or questionnaire is reliable and accurately measures what it intends to do. This process allows researchers to gain valuable understanding of the effectiveness of their measurement tools, and then they can make informed decisions about the results obtained. The next method is inter-rater reliability. This reliability is very important in measuring social skills. It refers to the level of agreement among different individuals when assessing the same thing. This is important because it ensures consistent results regardless of who administers or scores the test. For example, if we want to evaluate the socializing abilities of university students, we can have multiple people to watch videos of them interacting with new people and rate their social skills. If everyone pays attention and the students possess some social skills, the ratings should be fairly similar. To ensure consistent classification of behaviors, researchers employ various methods to assess reliability in continuous data. The most commonly used methods include Pearson and Spearman correlation coefficients, Cronbach's alpha, and intra-class correlations. Pearson and Spearman coefficients are suitable for data that follows a normal distribution, while intra-class correlations is more appropriate for data with a specific order or scale. In terms of acceptability, a value of 0.7 or higher is considered acceptable for Pearson and Spearman coefficients, while a value of 0.6 or higher is acceptable for intra-class comparisons. While a value of 0.6 or higher is acceptable for intra-class correlations. Researchers can choose the method based on the type of data they have, the subject of their study, and the number of raters involved and the available resources. Calculation methods for inter-rater reliability. This inter-rater reliability is very important aspect to assess the reliability of measurements as it measures the agreement or association between different raters. This is often determined using correlation coefficients like Pearson or Spearman's correlation coefficients. These coefficients provide insight into how much agreement there is between the rating. These coefficients provide insight into how much agreement there is between the ratings given by different individuals. Another statistics commonly used to assess inter-rater reliability is the intra-class correlation coefficient. This particular statistics is especially useful when dealing with continuous or ordinal data. It takes into account both systematic and random sources of variability in the ratings, providing a comprehensive measure of agreement between raters. When working with categorical or nominal data, Cohen's kappa coefficient is utilized. This coefficient not only assesses the agreement between raters but also considers the agreement that would be expected by chance alone. It provides a way to determine if the agreement observed between raters is beyond what would be expected due to random chance. Importance of inter-rater reliability, and one of the important aspects of this reliability is validity assurance. This validity assurance is important in assessments because it ensures that multiple observers or raters consistently interpret the data, leading to more accurate and reliable results. This high inter-rater reliability reduces mistakes and increases the validity of the assessment. Additionally, inter-rater reliability serves as a quality control measure by ensuring that different individuals follow the same rating procedures, reducing bias and increasing the reliability of the findings. When reliable ratings are obtained from various raters, the results can be generalized to a larger group, indicating that they are not influenced by individual biases or differences between raters. Another importance of reliable ratings extends beyond just assessments. In clinical settings, reliable ratings play a very important role in diagnosing patients, planning treatment strategies, and monitoring progress. By obtaining consistent and accurate ratings, healthcare professionals can make informed decisions about patient care. Similarly, In educational settings, reliable scoring of assessments is essential for evaluating student performance fairly and consistently. It ensures that students are assessed based on objective criteria, allowing for a more equitable evaluation process. Now, I will discuss the factors that can influence inter-rater reliability. The reliability of ratings given by different people can be influenced by several factors, and one of the important factor is the training and expertise of the raters. And one of the significant factor is the training and experience of the raters. When raters receive proper training, have clear criteria for rating, and participate in calibration sessions, they are more likely to give consistent ratings. Additionally, the complexity of the rating task itself can impact reliability. If the rating criteria are clear and easy to understand, and if the data being assessed is not too complicated, then the ratings are more likely to be reliable. It is crucial to provide clear instructions for the raters to follow. Another factor that can also affect reliability is the subjectivity of the task. Another factor that can also affect reliability is the subjectivity of the ratings. Ratings that involve personal judgment lower reliability compared to objective ratings. To minimize reliability, to minimize variability among raters, it is necessary to carefully define the rating criteria and provide appropriate training. By doing so, the chances of obtaining accurate and consistent ratings increase. Furthermore, the number of raters involved in the assessment also plays a role in reliability. Generally, if there are more raters and they agree with each other, the reliability of the ratings will be higher. This is because having multiple perspectives can help ensure more accurate and consistent ratings. Therefore, it is beneficial to involve a sufficient number of raters in order to enhance the reliability of the ratings. This is all about the internal consistency reliability of instruments. Thank you.